king and two bishops versus king is fairly easy with some practice. We'll begin with bishop to g6 check. So we like the bishops to be on consecutive diagonals, making an impenetrable barrier. Let's say king e5. We bring our king closer. If he attacks the bishops, we can fall back like this, maintaining that consecutive diagonal barrier, and now the bishops are unapproachable. King goes back to the center, our king gets closer, king d4. Bishop f4 here takes that square away, and we're still on these consecutive diagonals. So at this point, all of these squares are inaccessible to black, so we're starting to corral him to the left side of the board. So he moves over. Moving to c3 just makes it even easier after we grab the opposition. So he moves over to c4. Bishop e5, so we're transferring the consecutive diagonals up the board, shrinking the area for the black king. King b4, and again we transfer the diagonals up the board. Okay, king a3, king c5, and now we want to constrain the black king on the left edge of the board. All of these squares, making this kind of backwards L shape, are inaccessible, and we're going to corral the black king up to a8 and mate him on that square. And we're going to try to shrink this L shape. So king a4, bishop b2 to cover that square, so we're shrinking the L. King has to go up again. Now bishop b3 takes that square away, again shrinking the L shape. King a6. Okay, when he goes up above our king like that, we have to follow him and keep him confined to the edge. King a7. If king a5, we have a nice series of consecutive checks. Check, check. King goes up to keep him on the edge, and then a waiting move, and then a check, and a mate. Let's go back to this position and consider king a7. Okay, then we'll play bishop to e5, taking that square away from the king. And then he has to go back down perhaps, or in the corner. If he goes in the corner, let's see what we'll do. Okay, we'll play king c7. He comes back down. Bishop c4 takes that square away, so he's confined to these two squares right now. Goes up in the corner, and we want the dark squared bishop on that diagonal and the light squared bishop on that diagonal, but we don't want to stalemate him, so we have to have a waiting move, and then check, and then mate. Okay, so back to this position. Let's say he goes down to a6. Okay, we'll play bishop to c7 again to guard that square and keep this nice L shape shrinking. Goes back up. Bishop c4, and now he's confined to these two squares. He has to go up. We'll get the bishop back for some checking distance. He has to go back to a7. Now we get out of the way because we need this diagonal for the mate. King a8, and we do a waiting move, and then a check and a mate.